In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NBA games happening on November 12, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Charlotte Hornets versus Orlando Magic. In an upcoming Southeast Division matchup, the Orlando Magic will play host to the Charlotte Hornets for the first meeting between these two divisional rivals this season. This game marks an early opportunity for each team to assert themselves within their division and build momentum in the Eastern Conference standings. Both teams come into this matchup looking to extend their recent positive stretches and improve their season records. The Hornets entered this game following a recent stretch of success, having won 2 consecutive games before suffering a narrow loss in their most recent contest. With a 4-5 record so far this season, Charlotte's performance is respectable, especially considering the overall landscape of the Eastern Conference, where only 2 teams currently boast a winning record. This parity within the conference keeps Charlotte well within reach of a higher standing as they continue to refine their game. Meanwhile, the Magic have also shown signs of resilience. After enduring a challenging 5-game losing streak, Orlando bounced back to secure victories in their last 2 matchups, bringing their record to 4-6. However, their recent wins have come against teams with a combined total of just 5 wins, suggesting that Orlando's current competition level has not been particularly high. Charlotte could face roster challenges in this matchup, as guard Trey Mann is currently listed as questionable, which may impact their backcourt depth. On the other side, Orlando continues to be without 2 of their core players, Paolo Banchero and Wendell Carter Jr., both of whom play critical roles in their lineup. While Orlando has managed to put together consecutive wins, their victories came against the New Orleans Pelicans, who are missing Zion Williamson, and the Washington Wizards, who are without Kyle Kuzma. The Hornets will still have their star point guard LaMelo Ball available, which could give them an edge. LaMelo's presence, combined with his scoring ability, puts Charlotte in a favorable position to cover the spread in this matchup. Orlando has struggled to fill the void left by Banchero and Carter Jr., with Tristan da Silva and Goga Bitadze as their replacements. Though capable, they represent a noticeable drop-off in talent and scoring. Charlotte has been competitive in recent games, including an overtime loss to the Philadelphia 76ers, where they still covered the spread, and consecutive wins against the Indiana Pacers and Detroit Pistons. The Hornets are highly reliant on 3-point shooting, taking the second most attempts per game in the league, with LaMelo Ball ranked second in the league in 3-pointers made per game. With Charlotte covering the spread in 60% of their games this season, and Orlando trending downward without Banchero, the Hornets' recent form and healthy roster give them a strong chance to cover the spread in this game. Furthermore, LaMelo Ball, finally healthy, appears motivated and eager to make an impact, particularly with the spotlight of the NBA Cup in play, showcasing his talent on a national stage. The Magic looked out of sorts during their recent slump after Banchero's injury, but they seem to be regaining some stability. However, the Hornets are also improving and are relatively healthy, which should enable them to challenge the Magic while Orlando is missing key players. While I expect Orlando to ultimately secure a narrow win on their home court, the Charlotte Hornets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Charlotte, known for launching the second most 3-pointers in the league, has paradoxically become a consistent under team lately. The Hornets' last 6 games have all gone under the projected total, including a matchup against the Pacers where they held Indiana to just 83 points. With multiple key players missing, such as Charlotte's Miles Bridges and Orlando's Banchero, along with Wendell Carter Jr. and Nick Richards, scoring options are limited for both teams. Both teams often substitute players from the bench to their starting lineups, which can slow the pace and reduce scoring opportunities. For instance, Orlando's Tristan da Silva is still an emerging prospect and not yet a major scoring threat in the NBA, while Charlotte's Tidjane Salon, who recently started, averages only 3 points per game as a 19-year-old. The absence of these key players has contributed to Orlando going under in 4 of their last 5 games without Banchero. The recent trend for both teams has been low-scoring games, with the Hornets hitting the under in their last 5 games and the Magic in 4 of their previous 5. Neither Orlando nor Charlotte ranks in the top 15 for possessions per game, indicating that this game is unlikely to feature a fast pace. Orlando also ranks second in the NBA in opponent points allowed per game, showing they rely heavily on their defense, particularly when playing at home. Given the Magic's defensive strengths and limited scoring output, combined with the absence of high-scoring players, the projected total for this game seems likely to fall under the mark. Thus, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Atlanta Hawks versus Boston Celtics. The Atlanta Hawks will be looking to even the score in their regular season series against the Boston Celtics when they meet on Tuesday night. This anticipated matchup will take place at TD Garden, Boston's home arena, and promises to be an intense contest between 2 Eastern Conference teams with very different records so far this season. The Hawks come into the game after a 125-113 loss to the Chicago Bulls, in which they were favored by 2.5 points. Meanwhile, the Celtics are riding high after a hard-fought 113-107 victory over the Milwaukee Bucks, a game in which they covered the spread as 5-point favorites. Boston has had a slight edge over Atlanta in recent history, winning 6 of their last 10 meetings. This matchup poses significant challenges for the Hawks, as the Celtics are well equipped to exploit some of Atlanta's key defensive weaknesses. Due to these defensive vulnerabilities, it's likely that the Hawks will find themselves playing from behind, creating an environment where star guard Trae Young may need to carry a heavy scoring load to keep his team competitive. If Young is unable to dominate the offensive flow, the game could quickly slip away from Atlanta. The Hawks are well aware of how crucial Young's performance is to their success in this contest. The Celtics recently dominated the Hawks in a previous game, and Atlanta has struggled against the spread since last season. Currently, the Hawks are 3-8 against the spread for this season, and they had the worst against the spread record in the league last year. Given this, it's understandable that many might hesitate to back Atlanta. However, the spread for this game is large, especially for a regular season matchup. Although Boston has several key players listed on the injury report who are expected to play, the uncertainty around their condition casts further doubt on such a wide spread. Notably, the Celtics are only 3-5 against the spread in their last 8 games as double-digit favorites. As a result, the Atlanta Hawks to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. In recent games, the Hawks have frequently played over the projected total, going over in 2 of their last 3 outings. Atlanta's offense performs well on the road, averaging 118 points per game, and they play at the 4th fastest pace in the league with an average of 106.6 possessions per game. In this game, they're up against a Boston team that allows 110 points per game when playing at home. The Celtics, for their part, are a high-scoring team, averaging 120 points per game, and they maintain the 11th fastest pace with an average of 104.1 possessions per game. The last 3 meetings between Boston and Atlanta have seen 2 games go over the projected total. Boston tends to play at a moderate tempo but has shown an ability to adjust to faster-paced teams like Atlanta, who consistently push the pace. The Hawks' commitment to high possession games, combined with Boston's efficient scoring capabilities, especially from beyond the 3-point line, suggests that this game could turn into a high-scoring affair. Atlanta's defensive issues also open up opportunities for opponents to score freely, supporting an overpick as both teams engage in what could be a fast-paced, offense-heavy game. With both teams playing at a quick tempo and demonstrating strong scoring capabilities, the game is likely to trend toward a high total score. Therefore, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Miami Heat versus Detroit Pistons. The Miami Heat and Detroit Pistons will meet for the second time this season in what promises to be an intriguing rematch. In their first encounter, which took place about 2 weeks ago, the Heat emerged victorious with a 106-98 win on their home court. Now, the tables turn as Detroit gets to host this clash on their own turf at Little Caesars Arena. This matchup also holds added significance as it marks the Pistons' first game in the NBA Cup Group Play Series, adding an extra layer of competitiveness to the contest. The Heat, unfortunately, remain shorthanded for this game as their star player Jimmy Butler has been ruled out, leaving a noticeable gap in their lineup. Meanwhile, the Pistons have their own injury concerns, with Jalen Duren listed as questionable and his availability uncertain. The Heat began the season on a strong note but have hit a rough patch recently, losing 3 of their last 4 games. While Miami has a recent history of playing down to the wire games, the absence of Butler makes it difficult for them to maintain consistent success. This gives Detroit a real chance to cover the spread even if Miami manages to win outright. The Pistons, who stumbled out of the gates with a 0-4 start, have shown promising progress since then, thanks to the development of young players like Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. The Pistons have clearly gelled well with their new lineup, which has added more balance and depth. In their first matchup, the Heat had Butler and the advantage of playing on their home floor this time. However, Detroit has a chance to capitalize on home court advantage in Butler's absence. The Heat have struggled to find consistency this season but managed an impressive win over a red-hot Minnesota Timberwolves team in their last game, a positive sign in an otherwise bumpy start. Meanwhile, the Pistons have been outperforming preseason expectations, even though they're coming off a narrow loss to the Houston Rockets in their latest game. With both teams showing flashes of competitive play, this matchup appears to be well-balanced. However, Detroit's recent form and improved cohesion give them an edge, especially as home underdogs. Consequently, the Detroit Pistons to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams have emphasized tough, physical defense this season, ranking high in points allowed per game, with each team surrendering approximately 109 points on average. Offensively, however, both teams rank in the bottom half of the league in scoring, combining for an average of only 216 points per game. Notably, the Heat will be without Jimmy Butler's usual 16 points per game contribution, which only further dampens their scoring outlook. Tyler Herro has been phenomenal for the Heat, putting up impressive shooting numbers and hitting three-pointers at an incredible rate of nearly 46% on 8.8 attempts per game. However, it's likely that this hot shooting is unsustainable at such a high clip, and some regression in Herro's efficiency might be expected during this game. In terms of playing style, both teams favor a slower pace. The Pistons currently rank 23rd in pace, while the Heat rank 25th. Historically, this matchup has tended to stay on the lower side of scoring. In fact, dating back to last season, the Heat and Pistons have faced off in 3 consecutive games without exceeding 205 total points. This is more than a coincidence. It speaks to their defensive focus and slower pace, which is likely to result in another low-scoring contest. Both teams are in the bottom 10 in scoring efficiency on offense but rank in the top 10 in defensive scoring. Furthermore, in 4 of the last 5 matchups between these teams, neither side managed to score more than 110 points. Given the current circumstances and historical trends, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.